Wait, hold on.
And we are live. We are live. Sorry.
Don't point at me because I look awkward.
You look great. We all look great. Lexington looks great. It's a snowy, slushy, rainy, cold, dreary mess. But we're all happy on the inside because we get a top 10 showdown inside Rupp Arena. Number 4, Alabama coming to town to take on number 8, Kentucky. The battle of offensive masterminds, Nate Oates versus Mark Pope. This is what we live for. This is what college basketball is all about. It's a nooner on a Saturday. Don't back up into the snow, please.
Is that even snow? What would you call that?
It's a big pile of
yuck.
Gross.
It's a big pile of Crimson Tide.
Ooh, I like that. But we're going to have a lot of fun today. Rupp Arena, Cats versus the Tide. You get 2 of the highest powered scoring offenses in college basketball. You get 10 makes a game from 3. A little overrated, Alabama is, from shooting from 3. We'll talk about that. You just think in a vacuum that Alabama is just this elite juggernaut of a shooting team. That's not what they are. They're actually kind of one of the most efficient 2-point shooting teams in college basketball, the best offensive rebounding team in the last 5 games. So there's a lot to love about this matchup, but pace is the name of the game that I think we're going to be in for a lot of points and a quick as lightning game.
Yeah, I feel like last time we saw something like this, or kind of on the schedule, it was Kentucky versus Florida. Both teams scored 100 points. I don't know if we'll get to that mark again today, but I'm kind of expecting a similar situation, offensively at least. I think both teams are top 10, 15, 20 in adjusted tempo. 2 top 10 offenses as well, like Jack was saying. But yeah, the Alabama's shot profile is a little bit different than last year. Well, they're actually shooting more three-pointers than last year, but they're just not making them nearly as well as they were last year. It was like 38% from 3 last year. They're down to 32%, I think, this year. They are pretty much split half and half in terms of 2-point shots and 3-point shots. So while they do shoot very efficiently from inside, that's not where they're trying to go. If they're going inside, they're just trying to get dunks and layups with their big guys. Otherwise, they're going to still try and shoot as many three-pointers as possible. I think they're shooting like 31 a game or something ridiculous, so even more than Kentucky is right now. But other than Mark Sears and Aiden Holloway, they really don't have anyone that's kind of been that efficient, at least from 3.
Their only three-point shooter above 40% on the year has been declared out. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And then I think Mark Sears is doing he's probably I think he's in the high 30s.
36%, but he's shooting 8 a game. He's just launching. So he is a maker on the team. Aiden Holloway is a maker, but beyond that,
always
they're
good. Remember watching Holloway with Rob Dillingham?
That was fun.
With Team CP3. Was that the LeBron game where we sat behind LeBron?
Yeah.
Was that game?
I think so.
I think that was too. Where Chris Paul was actually coaching, I think, Aiden Holloway and Rob Dillingham for that game at Peach Jam. That was just a fun little trip down memory lane right there. But big Aiden Holloway fans over here.
Yeah, I like Aiden Holloway. Grant Nelson is also there.
He is a player, yes.
He is...
Andrew Carr with a Travis Price mustache.
Oh, I like... Or Andrew Carr with Andrew Carr's mustache, because he had one at one point.
He did have the mustache. I liked Perry's better, though, if I'm being honest. I think Travis had a better mustache.
Although he got all of his superpowers whenever he shaved it. So
he did. We're kind of in an awkward situation here with the... I'll let you I'll let you be one step ahead of me.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
Awesome.
So what else about Alabama? What do we know? They just lost to Ole Miss, like an embarrassing game. I don't know if you watched that one, Jack.
I did.
They kind of stunk it up. They scored 64 points, season low. They turned the ball over 21 times. They're a really good team at not turning the ball over. But Ole Miss, just Chris Beard's weird defense. It was kind of just a physical bully ball type game, and Ole Miss really got under their skin. And once, I think they had 7 turnovers in the first 5 minutes, and from there, the tone was just set. Alabama could not get into any sort of offense they wanted to, and it was all Ole Miss. They kind of ran away with that game in Tuscaloosa as well. So they're going to have revenge on the mind today.
Nate Oates was pissed. He
said disgusting.
He was at his post-game press conference. Said this was disgusting. This was a disaster. If we were ever putting money on Steven falling, it's right now.
That would have been right now. That was a bad spot here.
So
shout out to the
we'll see if he
I've ever seen in my life,
survives this, but. Nate Oates has been absolutely pissed this week. He talked to the media yesterday, and he kind of gave this promise to the media and the fans and said, hey, what you saw on Tuesday is not who we are as a team. It's not who I am as a coach. We're going to be better. We're going to put forth a better performance. It wasn't in a way of demeaning Kentucky in any way. He was like, hey, Kentucky is one of the best teams in college basketball for a reason. They're going to be an absolutely. There we go. Almost did it. We almost did it
on the smallest piece of ice.
Almost did it. But said just kind of apologized, if you will, to the fans and said, "Hey, that's not who we are. We're going to get it right up in Lexington at Rupp Arena." So we do have revenge on the mind. They're going to need it. And you hate to see them in coming off a loss like this. I was kind of rooting for them. It was like 8 minutes left. It was a 2-score game, in position to be like, all right, let's just kind of forget what happened in the first 30 minutes or whatever, and let's fix it down the stretch. They were not able to. It spreads out to
this looked good.
Yeah,
to their credit.
So I wish that they were coming off a tight, ugly win, and we could catch them on this time, because going 0-2 in this league is just a worst case scenario. So we were seeing them in better circumstances.
Can you guess what Alabama is really good at? The last 5 teams played has. Oh, did you?
I said they're the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the country in the last 5 games.
Oh, Alabama is? Okay, well, I know on the season they're top 20. So another game where they are just going to try and live and breathe on the boards.
In every rebounding category, defense, offense.
There you go.
Total rebounds, and I think margin there might be outside of that range, but they're an incredible rebounding team. Great
on the boards, especially in the offensive glass. So Kentucky will have to deal with that again. They've done quite well with it the last 2 games. Like we mentioned before, they had more offensive rebounds than Texas A&M, number 1 offensive rebounding team in the country. Like Jack just said, though, Alabama is now the number 1 team over the last however many games, and you could even take those a little bit more seriously, because they're against SEC teams. You don't really have all those non-conference easy wins baked into that stat. So Alabama's going to come out really aggressive on the glass there, especially because they're really efficient when they do get the ball inside. So any second chance opportunities they can get, they're going to go for. But again, against Ole Miss, they had the key. They kept them off the glass. They were just very physical with them. So this is going to be another game where Kentucky has to be physical. Do you think that could maybe impact the possibility of each team getting into the 90s with how physical Kentucky might have to be? Because we have seen games predicted to be high scoring ended up not being because of stuff like that.
I really have loved their response as of late. I love what we saw from them the last 2 games. And if we see the same physicality and toughness that we saw in the last 2 games, and that comes in lieu of a high-scoring 90, 100-point game, I'll take it 10 times out of 10. Their resolve and response has been really, really good. So we want to see more of that. I love that Mark Pope, when he talked to the media on Thursday, he was like, wouldn't you guess? Wouldn't you figure that we, just kind of figure ourselves out on the glass a little bit, figure out our toughness, figure out our physicality, and then we get number 4 team in the country. So this is the best team that Kentucky's played all season long.
Yes.
And they are now the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the country. So how much because I think with the shooting, Alabama has underwhelmed from 3, but they're due. They're one of those teams that, like, you can never it's kind of like Kentucky. You can never totally count them out to not go make 15, 23s in a game. So their misses kind of directly go hand in hand with the second chance opportunities in the offensive rebound. So I'm predicting them to figure themselves out from 3 today, and both teams are going to hit at a high rate. So I think the offensive rebounding numbers as a result of that are going to go lower. Yeah,
and Alabama, they're making less than 9 3-pointers a game, or through SEC play at least. Mm-hmm. So 8.8 through their 4 games. Got multiple guys that are traditionally not as bad shooters as they normally have been this season, like Grant Nelson, Phylon, Youngblood as well. Those are guys that I think they're all under the 30% mark this season from 3. Kentucky is one of the best teams in the country at 3-point defense, and part of that is they make bad shooters take 3s. So barring hot games from any of those guys, that's kind of the key to Alabama's success of getting hot from deep, is to trying to get those guys ready and get those guys going. Because Mark Sears and Aiden Holloway they're going to hit dumb shots. They're going to hit shots that they should not make because they're just shot makers. They're really good overall shooters. Mark Sears he'll line up a 3-pointer from damn near 30 feet and he'll drill it multiple times.
He'll do some Dame Lillard
stuff. That won't even be some Rupp Arena magic. That is just a really good player coming in to this building and playing really well. So expect him to still try and light it up from deep. But yeah, if you can make Mark Sears and Aiden Holloway beat you, or not, I'm sorry, make the other guys beat you, make those role players beat you, Kentucky's going to be in good shape for this game. Just got to hold Mark Sears down, but there is one guy on the other side of the court that could really help hold Mark Sears down. Jack, give us the latest on Lamont Butler's entire body.
Dude, it was insane just watching him just take. We compared it,
really
we compared it to that volleyball video where the one guy,
Scott Sterling,
the one guy in the middle of the floor, just gets hit after hit after hit, just
in the
one
face,
after other on his way off the stretcher. It was just one of those deals. Like he kept every chance. That was the most ridiculous part of it. It was just like, man, all right, yeah.
He was already on the ground.
This guy's already been through enough, and let's just punt his head to the moon and see what happens. And to his credit, he toughs it out because he is a tough SOB, has been forever, and I don't think that's going to change. Game time decision today. Steve and I were talking about it. I would be just stunned if somebody of his mindset and just the warrior
given the scenario
that he brings to the table in this game, I would just be absolutely stunned if he doesn't give it a go, knowing that Kentucky's without Kirk Risa. I had heard even with the Gonzaga game that, he went through walkthrough, went through shoot around, and was in a position to play, but knew that, like, hey, we have Kerr. Let's not turn this into a long-term lingering issue, so let's just hit pause for a second and hold you out. And we're past that, with Kerr out. We're then trusting Travis Perry with 30-plus minutes at point guard, and I don't know if that's the right situation against a team like Alabama. So, I'd be absolutely shocked if he didn't play.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if he didn't play as well. The last time we saw a game time decision listed on the availability report, Andrew Carr was on there, and he ended up playing and having a great game, scoring 13 points against whoever it was. Mississippi State, I think that one was.
Yes.
And then Andrew Carr was also listed as probable questionable against Texas A&M. He still played. Last night he was listed as probable,
yes,
I think, and then was removed entirely today, so he'll be good to go. That's just going to be a game-by-game thing for Andrew Carlick. And I was not shocked to even see Lamont's name on the injury report just because of how he just got his ass beat against Texas A&M. So, but like you said, it would be a shock to see him not play because of this situation, because of the setting. Mark Pope even came out on Thursday and said, this guy's a winner, this guy's a winner. Said it multiple times. Oh, we've got the AR-15s again. Do we have another
politician?
Do we have another big-time politician coming in today? It's kind of scary when you see those big guns walking around. So I expect Lamont Butler to play. You're not going to call a guy a winner 100 times, and then he's not going to play in arguably the biggest game of the season. So going to need him, too, because you're going to need someone to try and slow down Mark Sears. That's going to be Butler's job. That's going to be a fun battle, just in general, on both ends of the floor. Any other thoughts?
Are you excited? Are you excited to see Mark Pope and Nate Oates kind of get in their bag a little bit, their offensive bag a little bit? Kind of like, it's one of those, like, hey, I'm the established, I have the staying power in the SEC. You're the new guy on campus. You know what? All right, I'll show you what the older OG offensive guru has to say about it. Or do you think that Mark Pope is going into this one with kind of a chip on his shoulder, like, all right, big time test against another offensive genius. I got to show my stuff. I got to prove my worth in the league. I'm excited to see kind of the back and forth of their offensive fun stuff.
Hey, every game is the biggest game, Jack. So this game's just as important as who was the first game of the season? Winthrop?
Wright State.
Did we play Winthrop? I don't even know. Lipscomb, I think is who I was thinking of there. But yeah, Drew Franklin made a good joke this morning on the pregame show called Nate Oates Dark Pope, because he's pretty much the asshole version of Mark Pope.
Somebody on our message board said, is he the Wario to...
I didn't really understand that, but I kind of get what he was saying after I thought about it for a little bit.
You don't know who Wario is?
I understand who Wario is, I know, but Wario's the big kind of like small pudgy guy, so I don't envision.
But he's the evil mastermind.
Yes, he is evil
of
Mario.
The equivalent of Mario.
I would liken him more to Waluigi. It's more of a Luigi-Waluigi situation if I'm doing Oates and Pope, just because of the stature of their physical statures. Like Waluigi seems like he'd be like 6'10". I think Luigi not as tall.
Well, hello.
We've got some KSR fans walking by right now. Do we want to go ahead and just give pregame predictions because it's 40 degrees and spitting rain out here?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm all the way for it.
What did I say? I already forgot. I think I said 96-91 Kentucky.
That's not what you said.
What did I say?
I don't know. Mine was 96-93. And yours, I
think it was 95-89.
That's what it was. Yep, nailed it.
95-89. We'll get there eventually. Still, Kentucky's picking them to cover the spread. I think it was 1.5 in favor of Kentucky when I woke up this morning. Still that way as we're getting to walk into Rupp Arena here. But I'm going to pick MVP. Lamont Butler.
Ooh.
If he has a good game today, Kentucky wins.
And if he doesn't play, blame Zach. He's going to play. We're fine. I'm going 96-93. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a nail-biter. It's going to be one of those back and forth. Just pull out your popcorn and have a blast. It's good. We're really excited. High noon matchup. And I'm going Jackson Robinson makes it 3 for 3.
Ooh,
he's been amazing the last couple of games. He's going to continue his momentum, and we're going to see the best version of him once again on the big stage. Number 4, Alabama. Number 8, Kentucky. Rupp Arena. High noon. What more can you say?
Crowd.
Go Cats.